Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Kuf Lamed Hey Amud Beis, 5 lines from the bottom. From the beginning of the parak, we have been discussing that a bris milah, when it comes out to be on Shabbos, it's doiches HaShabbos. The Gemara now challenges this premise. Says the Gemara Tanya, bringing the following brisa. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Oimer, Kol sheshoha shloishim yoim ba'odam einoi nefil. If a child is able to then live beyond 30 days, from the 31st day and beyond, he's now not considered to be a nefil, he's viable. Shene'emar, states in the Pasuk, Upedu Yov mi ben chodesh tifde. Here the Pasuk talks about a bechor, a Jewish baby boy, that you have to be poideh when he's a month old. From here, Chazal learn out that after 30 days is when he's considered to be viable. In regards to an animal, Shmoinas Yomim Bebehema Eino Neufel. Only on the 8th day is the animal now considered to be viable. The first 7 days not. And it brings a posuk, Shneimar, Umiyoim Hashmini Vehola Yeirotze Lekarbin. And from the 8th day, meaning including the 8th day, then does the carbon become Ratsui. And therefore, then it's viable. Before that, the animal is not viable. Ask the Gemara now, Ho loisha sveika have. If indeed it did not then wait the 30-day period, we said it in a child only after 30 days becomes viable. Before that, he's considered to be a suffix nefil. Ask the Gemara, if that's so, on the top of Kuf Lamed Vav and Aleph, then mimhal hechi mehalinan lei. How can we give a child a bris milah on Shabbos on the 8th day and be doiche Shabbos? Maybe that will then be a chabura shelo l'shem mitzvah because the child is a nefil. Answers the Gemara Amarav Ad bar Ahavo malin oisoy mimonav shach. We give him a bris milah mimonav shach. Im chayhu, on the side that the child is viable, he's chay, then shapir kamoil. Then it was a good bris milah. It was a mitzvah which was doiches HaShabbos. V'im lav mechatech bebosarhu. If not, then all he's doing is cutting bosar, because the child is considered to be mace, an even, is not viable, and therefore just like a piece of meat that one cuts is not going to be then transgressing, making a chabura on Shabbos, even though blood may then result. So too, this child is considered to be a nefil, and is not considered to be a chabura. Ask the Gemara, ve'eloho, the Tanya, that which it states in the Brisa, in regards to a child who was born suffix 7th month, suffix 8th month. We said that in the days of Chazal, when a child is born in the 7th month, it's still considered to be viable. However, when it's born in the 8th month, it's not viable. So the Brisa says as follows. Sofek ben Zayin, Sofek ben Ches, Ein Mechalin Aloves HaShabbos. If there is a suffix as to when the child was born, either on the 7th month or the 8th month, then one cannot then give a bris milah on Shabbos. It's not doiches Shabbos because it's a suffix. Ask the Gemara, based on the premise that we just said, the Mimon of Shoch, then they say the same thing over here. Amai nimahale mimon of shach. Let's give a bris milah to this child, also mimon of shach. As follows: Im chayhu shapir kamahil. If it's alive, meaning to say on the side that it was born in the 7th month, then it's a good bris milah and it's doiches HaShabbos. V'im lav mechate bebosarhu. And if not, it was really born on the 8th month, then that which he's then making he's cutting the skin is only cutting basar ba'alma. It's not considered to be making a wound on Shabbos, and therefore one should be able to then give a bris milah to such a suffix on Shabbos as well. Answers the Gemara Amar Marbre Dravino Anna V'Rav Nechumi Bar Zechariah Targimna Mimohil Hochanami Mihalinone. We explain this brisa to referring to that indeed in Milah we would give a bris milah to a suffix Zayin Safik Ches. That's how we would explain the Brisa. So what does it mean over here in the Brisa? Ein Machalin Alem Es HaShabbos? This is referring to the Shita of Rabbi Eliezer, who says that the Machshirei Mila is also Doiches HaShabbos. Over here, he would agree that it's not Doiches HaShabbos, as follows. Lo nitzucha el machshira mila v'aliv Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer, when does he say machshira mitzvah mila is doiche es HaShabbos? That's when we know it's vadai going to then be the 9th month, a full term, and therefore we can go ahead and give a bris milah on Shabbos. It's doiches HaShabbos. But if it's suffix shiva, suffix shmoine, then even Rabbi Eliezer says that you don't then do the machshirei milah to doiches Shabbos. You wouldn't be able to then, let's say, bring the izmal, the knife of the moihel from the Rishus HaRabim into the Rishus HaYochi to bring and do the bris milah. Because since over here it's a suffix, the only thing that's permissible is the actual meal itself because of this miman of shach. Maybe on the side that is going to be a chai, then it'll be a good bris milah. It would then be a mitzvah. On the side that it's mace, that is not considered to be chai, then it's not even a chabura. But in regards to the machshirei mitzvah, even Rabbi Eliezer would agree over here it's not doiches HaShabbos. Omar Abaye now says, kitanoi, this that we said before, that the time for a child to then be considered to be no longer a nefil, but rather a viable kayam, is only after 30 days. This is a machlokes tanoim. So too when it comes to an animal, that we said only the first 7 days is considered to be maybe a nefil, but once it's then 8 days and beyond, is no longer the din of a nefil. This is a machlokes amongst the tanoim, says Abaye. As follows: V'chi yamus min habehema asher hi lochem lo'ochla. Here the Brisa brings a pasuk in regards to nevela, and it says that when a kosher animal is dead, it's considered to be a nevela. It died without a shchita. It says over here, if a person were to touch that animal, that nevela, then they become tamei. So the Gemara makes a drasha, the Brisa makes a drasha, Lahavi ben shmoina she'en shchitasoi mitaharosoi. This comes to include that if it's 8 months old, when the behemoth was born 8 months old, she'en shchitasoi mitaharosoi, that the shchita, even if you give a shchita to this potential nevela, then it will not help to take it out of its status as nevela, will remain tamei. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Oimrim, shchitasim etahartoi. That if you take this animal and you would be shechting it, then you remove the status of being a nevela, and therefore will not be mitame. It will be tahor. So the Gemara now, based on this, suggests my lav behokam miflagi. Is it not in the following that they are arguing about? The mar savar chayhu mar savar mesu, that the Rabbanon, they say chai, that the animal is chai, and therefore by shechting such a treifa, therefore it loses its status as being metame, and therefore a person will touch it and will not become tamei, because it has a status halachically of being chai, even though it's now in the 8th month. Whereas the other opinion, namely Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, they say that it's mesu, and therefore since it's mace, by you being shechting it, it's not going to help. It remains the status of being a nevela, it'll be metame. Omar Rava says, Ihachi adamiflagi le'inyan tuma v'tahara liflagi le'inyan achila. Why then are they arguing about tuma and tahara? If indeed it's considered to be chai, then it should be also edible. And we know that it's not. So therefore, indeed, it's not the machlokes, ela de kuli alma mesu. Everybody agrees that when it's born in the 8th month, it has a status of being mace. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, Savre, Treifa. They learn that it's like a treifa. In what sense is it like a treifa? That they say that if you're going to go ahead and going to shecht it, it's going to become tahor. Treifa lav afal gav de mesehi shchitase mitaharta hachanami loshna. By a treifa, if there's an animal that's a treifa that will not live beyond 12 months, if you shecht the animal, then it's no longer going to be metame. It'll be tahor. So too over here, if you're going to shecht the nevela, meaning to say when it was born in the 8th month, that also will metaher it. Whereas the Rabbanan say it's not comparable to a treifa. Treifa haisa l'shas hakosher. When it comes to a treifa, before it became a treifa, it was a viable animal, and therefore over here, when it comes to a treifa, when you shecht it, it's tahor. But but over here, in regards to this scenario of the 8th month, when it was born in the 8th month, then it never was viable, and therefore by shechting it does not metaher. V'chitema treifa mi beten. Oh, you'll say maybe that it was treifa mi beten, and therefore that also wasn't viable to begin with. In other words, just now we want to explain the chiluk as being, the machlokes as being, that by a treifa, it became a treifa, but beforehand it was viable. So all of those times before it was viable, when you then go ahead and shech a treifa, then you say it's metaher. Masha'en kain, when it comes to that animal that was born in the 8th month, that animal, when you then go ahead and shecht it, then it never had a status of being potentially kayam. When you then go ahead and shecht it, it's not metaher. So ask the Gemara then, v'chiteim, if you're going to say maybe treifa k'mibetin, if it was a treifa when it was born, it also never had a preliminary status that it was viable. So therefore, also when you shecht it, you should not be able to metaher it. My ikal we're going to say, to which the Gemara answers, no, hasam yesh b'mina shchita, hacha einam b'mina shchita. When it comes to the treifa, even if it's a treifa mi betin, but other types of treifa, that min of treifa has such a potentiality. Before it was treifa, it was kayam. So therefore, when you shecht a treifa, right, even a treifa mi betin, then it's metayer. Masha'enka, when it comes to an animal that was born on the 8th month, it never, that min, that type never had a status that it was able to be viable, and therefore when you shecht it, it's not metaher. Ask the Gemara based on the opinion of Rabbi Shimon Gamliel that an animal only the first 7 days, right, has a status of nefil, and only afterwards is it kayam, from 8 days and beyond. Iboilu, ask the Gemara, is this a machlokes, or does everybody agree with this? Mi pligi Rabban alei, the Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, or loy, does Rabbanan argue on this sheet of Rabbi Shimon Gamliel that an animal again is only going to be viable from 8 days and beyond, or not? If you're going to say that the Rabbanan do argue on Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, halacha kamoisoi or ein halacha moisoi? Is the halacha like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel or not? Toshma, let's bring a raya. Egel shenoilad b'yomtiv, an egel that's born on yomtiv. Here we say that since the cow was able to be slaughtered on Yontif, therefore the calf inside of it is not muktzah. Whereby if you shecht the egel on that Yontif, it says you can do so on the first day it's born. So here it appears to be not like the sheet of Rav Shimon Gamliel. So it here appears to be that indeed the Rabbanan are arguing on Rav Shimon Gamliel, and indeed the halacha is like them. Says the Gemara, no. Hacha b'may askinon de kimle begavia shekalu loy chadoshav. Here it says that we know for certain that this animal, this cow, was full term when it gave birth to the egel, whereby it's not considered to be something that requires 7 full days, and is only then kayim on the 8th day. Even the first day is considered to be viable. Even Rav Shimon Gamliel would agree to that. So it's not a kasha on him. Toshma, the Gemara wants to bring another kasha on Rav Shimon Gamliel. V'shovin she'im noilad hu umumoy imoy shezeh min hamuchan. In regards to an animal that is a bechor, So the Bechor is a gift that's given to the Kohen. And the Kohen then brings it on the Mizbeach. However, if a Bechor has a moon that is lasting, then that Bechor is not brought as a carbon, but rather can be eaten by the Kohen, can be used and eaten by the Kohen. So what happens when the Bechor is born, right? If it's a Bechor and it already has a mum, so you cannot then allow, there's a machlokes rather, whether you can allow one to check, a mumche to check the Bechor on Yantif to determine if it's a mum kayim or not. The Manda Omer says that you cannot, says because otherwise it's a tikkun. Now you're being mesakein the animal for then preparation to be used on Shabbos, to be slaughtered and eaten on Shabbos. But over here it says that if the Bechor was born with a mum, and the mumcha is able to see at the precise time that it's born whether it has a mum or not, then he can check even then, because it was never in a situation that it was not prepared before Shabbos, that it was already considered to be something that was not muchan. So therefore, says the Brisa, Vishavin, both opinions agree that you can go ahead and look the moment that the animal was born whether it has a mum. Since it never was in a status before that it did have a mum, so now you can determine while it's born. Vishavin, they agree. Shim noiladhu, if it's born, umumoy imoy, and it has a mum with it, shezeh muna muchan, that it's considered to be prepared for Yom Tif, which means to say you can slaughter it. So it's mashma, you don't have to wait 7 full days and only slaughter it on the 8th day. Answers the Gemara the same answer. It's not a kasha or Hashem Gamliel, because we know that the mother that gave birth to this offspring gave birth to it after a full 9 months, and therefore even Hashem Gamliel would agree that it's a viable calf or offspring, whatever the animal was, and therefore it's considered to be able to be slaughtered even on the first day. Toshma, the Gemara now brings the following: Do Omar Rabbi Yehuda Omar Shmuel Halacha ki Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. They say the name of Shmuel that halacha is like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Halacha michlal de pligi. The fact that Shmuel comes and says the halacha of Rabbi Shimon Gamliel must be that there's a bar plukta that he's arguing on somebody. Shmamina. So now we can derive that indeed the Rabban do argue on Shimon Gamliel, and we can also say the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel.